Hello mis amigos and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing great. I hope you're having an amazing day. And today we're sewing again. Should not have come up with an idea in a room this hot. Anyway. Hi guys, look, I've got something like a table and we're actually sewing, which is a combination that has not been on my channel before, or I think once. I don't know why since then I've never used this amazing table. It's summer, all of a sudden it's 1,000 degrees outside, summertime sadness is kicking in, and I'm extremely hot. And I don't mean hot in terms of appearance, unless you understand sweating as appearing hot. Let's just say I feel extremely warm. And obviously I need clothes to wear for hotter days. And I just wanted to challenge myself and try and make them myself. Here's the thing. For the first time on this channel, I will try to do... Actually, not for the first time on this channel, but I will do it anyway. I will make clothing from scratch and...
Is that making it from scratch? So...
My plan... This is so chaotic. I want to make a two-piece. I want to make shorts and something like a shirt. And instead of making a pattern for this one, I kind of want to make the pattern myself, or I just basically want to copy clothes that I already own and use them as guides or patterns. This is something I've done once, probably 8 years ago. Surprisingly, it actually looked really good, seeing as though I had little to actually no experience when I did it. Today, we just want to make everything better that I sucked at when I did that. For this video, initially, I just wanted to try and make an oversized t-shirt, but I still want to go a different route. Basically, we're gonna make an oversized tee and then cut off the sleeves, or not even attach them and not even make the sleeves, just a t-shirt without the sleeves, obviously. We're gonna do that and some shorts. For that, I bought a really nice summery color. What was I thinking? Probably that I really like this color, but obviously it does not look very summery at all, unless you just wear it in summer and then it's a summer look. I've also got some rib knit in almost the same color, but not quite, which is an issue. Now let me show you what I want to replicate. I wore this in last week's video because I absolutely love it, but it's a little thick for summer. But I don't think that this looks too difficult to make. And I think this clothing item looks good on all genders. And what I'm trying to say is that when it's super easy, which I'm about to find out, then you guys should totally do it. Now, I just laid the fabric down as flat as possible. I put this on here as flat as possible and realized that my table is not big enough for this task. I tried to find the side seams, which I did. I'm gonna lay it on the edge, but obviously leaving enough seam allowance as well, right here. Basically, what we should be able to do now is cut along the edge, leaving enough seam allowance all around, and then our front piece should be done. Just so you know, you could be more careful than I am right now, because you could trace the clothing item that you already own on paper first and then cut it from the fabric, or you could be as much of a risk taker as I am, which I'm usually not really, I don't think, and just cut it right away.
It would have been even smarter of me had I doubled the new fabric and folded the top in the middle across this line. This would ensure a more even outcome, but apparently I'm stupid and I like the extra work.
Gonna cut it with my rotary cutter. At some point, eventually, you will hopefully end up with something like this. I don't like the table, I can't even show you guys something properly. Now we're gonna do the same for the back. And just like that, our back piece is done as well. This looks so humongous. I mean, again, you can't see because of this fucking table. I need to cool down now. Let me get out of this room for a second, and then I'll be back. While I was having my afternoon espresso, I was thinking about the next step, and I didn't know what the next step was. Then I kept thinking, however, and I think the next step is to make a beautiful seam for the armholes so that they look nice and finished. Alternatively, we could put some of the rib knit in. But as I was thinking, I came to the conclusion that I don't think I want to use this rib knit because it looks very different. This fabric is quite elastic as well. Therefore, my conclusion is to lower the neckline a little bit in order to widen the hole where your head comes through. I think I should be able to push my fat head through this hole. For now, I'm just gonna make beautiful seams for the armholes. And for that, I'm just gonna fold in the seam allowance that I've left And then I'm gonna do the same on the bottom.
Actually, it would have been smarter to sew the front and back together first, then worry about the hems, because that would make the hems more even all around the garment. But I'm still too stupid when it comes to sewing to think about that in the moment.
I'm now gonna hem the bottom of this shirt, hopefully really beautifully. The thing is, I've learned just now, in order to hem elastic fabric as beautifully as possible, you will need a twin needle, I think it's called. Because I don't have that, I'm just gonna do a zigzag stitch and hope that it'll be okay. I've got some scrap fabric though, so I'm gonna test it. It just doesn't look that good. So let me just quickly do the hem, and I'm gonna do the hem on the bottom first because the front is a little bit shorter than the back, and therefore I can't go around it once. I'll have to do it individually, and afterwards I'm already gonna join both pieces.
This is for everyone who doubted me, including myself. Maybe I'm not dumb when it comes to sewing.
Now let's do the other one. Now the next step is to join the front and the back. We're just gonna, or I'm just gonna, because let's face it, you're not doing anything right now. I will have to join them right sides together. And then I'll make sure to join both pieces on this corner, which is the armpit corner. This piece is almost done. Now we just gotta make a beautiful hem up here and here as well. The neck hem looks so good, except right in the middle there's a mistake. But we're just gonna ignore it. For now you only get to see it like this because I want a full-on reveal in the end. But it's okay. I think I could like it. But let's do the shorts now, as in tomorrow, because I'm dying.
Surprise, bitch. I bet you thought you'd seen the last of me.
But I'm back. It's time for some shorts. I got these sweatpants that I basically want to replicate. I just want to make them a little bit longer. So basically what we're gonna do is dance. 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 Yeah, that's right. It's sneaker night. I think it's best to turn it inside out. Yeah, I think I'm fairly confident that I'll be able to make the general pant, but I'm really afraid of the top part here because I've got some elastic, but I've never done that before and that looks like a stressful task. Yeah, so as I said, we're basically... Oh, I didn't say it. I just started singing Vanessa Hudgens' song. So basically we're gonna do what we did yesterday. We're gonna take the fabric, lay it on our table, gonna start copying all of the pieces. However, this time I think I will fold the fabric so that I don't have to cut out 4 individual pieces. Okay, the back pieces are also done now. So that means we have to continue with the waistband now, which tricky. I will stretch this out, I guess, and try and measure it. So I'm just gonna go to the seam, and then I'm gonna stretch it as far as I think I have to stretch it. This seems like a good amount. And from top to bottom, technically 6, so let's do 7. Yeah, 51. Oh, it's just 1. Wait, 102 centimeters by 7.
Disregarding my absolute stupidity, I continued cutting the now too small rectangle from the fabric and also traced the inner pockets and then cut them out 4 times. Luckily, and probably just because I cut out too small a rectangle for the waistband, I only just had enough fabric left for the back pocket, which I also traced and cut out.
Alrighty, I've got the back pocket done as well. I'm just gonna start finishing off the back pocket as much as I can right now because this is the easiest job, I believe, and I don't want to get started on the rest. As a first step, I will fold over the top. I will press this down nicely in a second, and then I'll do a straight stitch. Will I do a straight stitch or will I keep doing the zigzag stitch? We're just gonna have to fold in all of the sides, basically everywhere, just not on the top, and then press it down. Now I've got one of the back. Oh, should I show you guys what I did? Now I've got one of the back pieces and I've got the right side facing me. It does seem to be in the middle, so I will also just put it in the middle, making sure to push it together a little bit so that I will somehow be able to slide my hand into it, even though obviously I won't really use that pocket. I'm just gonna secure it with some pins now. Now it's time for a top stitch very close to the edge. Now it's time to put the front and back sides together. That is wrong.
Actually, Mr. Know-It-All, it is correct, or at least it would have been smarter to sew the front and back together first with both layers of the inner pockets in between. Instead, I decided to sew the pockets together first, which made me struggle trying to sew together the front and back beautifully in the end.
Now this is our pocket. This is our opening right here, which we're gonna attach to the front and the back of the pants. This is the part that's gonna attach to the waistband. So for now, I'm just gonna sew along this edge up until here. Got my two very differently sized pockets that we can put our hands in, which is nice. In both sizes, by the way, so that's all that matters. Now we have to start attaching them to either the front or the back pieces.
The moment of realization.
I think I just made it really difficult for myself. Let's start layering and hopefully making this work. So basically right now I just have to pretend that the pockets are not sewn together yet. And if that were the case, then I would put one of the pocket pieces, so one side of the pocket, right sides together with the back piece, for example, or the front piece. So this is the back piece, the right side with the pocket. And now I have to sew it together on the side of this pant until I come across the seam that should not be there already if I hadn't sewn the pockets together. And now in the same way, I'm gonna have to try and attach the other side of the pocket to the front of the pant. I think we're still in business. So basically this is the outside of one side of the pant now. Now, obviously, the bottom right here is still open and we're gonna have to close that. For that, I'm gonna flip it, put the right sides together and just sew it shut. And while I'm at it, I will also close the inner part of these pants, but only up until this point. Now I have to repeat the same thing for the other side, but you guys know how it's done now, so. We've got two legs, now let's make a pant out of it. Both of these are inside out right now. I'm gonna flip one of them right sides out. And now I'm gonna put the one that I turned right side out into the other leg, so that all right sides touch each other and that we can close it right here on the top part of the pant. And we've got pants, guys! Look at that! They look so good! What the fuck? We all know that I could still fuck it up because now comes the scary part, namely the waistband. You guys were probably screaming at me when I cut the fabric for the waistband, right? Our waistband is gonna be a little thinner than I wanted. I folded this in the middle. My plan now is 1 centimeter of seam allowance, then we're gonna have the robe, and then sew a tunnel for the elastic to go through. Let's find the middle of this. Now I'm gonna look how far apart these holes are. With the seam allowance in mind, I went up about 2 centimeters and this is where I'm gonna place the grommets. Alrighty, the grommets are in. Now I folded it all out again. And the next step is to sew the waistband right sides together. Important, however, is that you mark where you'll have to put in the waistband later on and do not sew there. I'm just gonna sew here until that mark and from that mark to the end again. In order for the elastic to not move around in this entire waistband too much, I need to make like a tunnel and therefore I have to make a straight stitch basically below this elastic. Now everyone, it's time to attach our waistband to our pants. Dare I say, guys, we're nearing the end. I now gotta measure how much of this elastic I need, which I'm just gonna use my handy dandy old sweatpants for that. It's time to thread the elastic through the tunnel with the help of a safety pin. Now I'm gonna sew together the elastic using a zigzag stitch. Now that I somehow managed to tuck in the elastic into the tunnel, I will have to close this gap by hand. So I'm gonna hand stitch this together. Guys, I think there are only 2 steps left. The first of these 2 steps is to thread this through the grommets and through the tunnel that I've created. Alright guys, it's time for the last step, which is to hem the bottom, and then we're done. You know how to hem, so I'll see you with a finished product. And here's my outfit. I hope you guys like it as much as I do, because I like it so much. Even though you can't see it in full. I mean, you can see the outfit in full, but not my face. This is kind of awkward to film right now because I've already filmed this, but this bad boy was not turned on. Honestly guys, just tell me how much you like this outfit, because I like it a lot. I just need reassurance. Had I known yesterday that I could also just straight stitch this fabric, then I'd be happier with the top, because I think the shorts actually look really polished. The top can't really compare, but I still like it, especially as a set with my pockets that all work. The waistband was the only really sad situation about this whole project, except, you know, the environment which I was in, which was just super hot. I'm surprised. That means this is an easy project because I was able to do it. That being said, thank you guys so much for being here if you've watched until now. I really appreciate that, because if it wasn't for YouTube, I probably wouldn't be sewing as much as I do. And I hope I inspired you to do a similar outfit, which I want to see, because I think we'd be rocking the partner look. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Y entonces, nos vemos la próxima vez. Y bye!